From the National Museum of African American Music in Nashville, Tennessee, this is Just Conversations, presented by the Metro Human Relations Commission.
Welcome to Just Conversations. Today's episode is about housing equity and housing justice here in Nashville. We're filming at the National Museum of African American Music. My name is Jackie Sims, and I am the Executive Director of PATH. And PATH is People's Alliance Around Transit, Affordable Housing, and Employment. And I have with me today two guests. I'd like to say welcome to each of them, and I'll have them introduce themselves to you. I'll start with you.
Hi, my name is Caronda Tilman.
And sir,
my name is Dwight McKinney, and I have been in Riverchase at least 8 years.
Mr. McKinney mentioned Riverchase Apartments. Riverchase Apartments has been in Nashville probably for several decades. Both of our guests are at Riverchase and are experiencing a lot of what is happening in the city now around housing justice and equity. And we're having a huge problem with an eviction crisis. So that is what we will be talking about most of our time here today. I'm going to start with Caronda. I probably have spent the most, well, absolutely, not probably. We spent a lot of time together. We've been on a little journey for the last several weeks. And so I have a few questions, and they're pretty open-ended. So I want you to be very candid, in your response. I would like for you to tell our audience how we met, the circumstances around you and I beginning our journey.
Okay, we met at the courthouse downtown Nashville. I was going to court about an eviction from Riverchase property. I received notice that I owed maybe a couple of $1,000s in back rent, which I started out through, the housing choice voucher. I had a voucher.
Section 8?
Yeah, Section 8. So
okay.
I was using my Section 8 voucher through Riverchase, but I was supposed to be getting a new apartment because they was up under a new management. So I'm waiting. That never happened. So at the end, when the old company did come in, well, they're getting ready to transition now, but Freeman Webb Company was coming in, they was like, well, you owe all this money and we're not going to accept your voucher. So I'm like, how do I owe money when I've been on this because we're supposed to be moving to a new apartment? So what it is, y'all, was letting the time go by and then wasn't turning in my paperwork that I was submitting.
Okay.
I was doing my part, so that's why I was confused when they told me that my voucher had expired. And they knowingly waited to the end while I had like maybe 5 days to say that they would not accept my voucher. So now I'm scrambling trying to find a new place of residence, which I did find something. Wasn't my top choice, but I had to do what I had to do for me and my family. So once I put that paperwork in, they was like, well, no, you can't move here because you have an outstanding balance. So that stopped everything then. So I ended up losing my voucher and just being, paying, for hotels or whatever I needed to do to, to survive. And then so once you came in to my life, you've been like advocating for me, being the voice for me, and letting them know that it's not okay to do this, and I know it has a lot to do with, the low income area or whatever we're residing in, that causes a lot of these things to go unnoticed because a lot of people feel like they can't voice their opinion because if they do, we got to be labeled as being angry or being dramatic.
Yeah. Plus, it's been my experience also, Caronda, if a lot of persons in your position making complaints, because I'm sure you had many a complaint about the condition of your apartment. That is also a reason for people to find themselves on the eviction list. Let's back up to the courtroom. When you learned that you were facing eviction, what was that day like?
It was like somebody just reached inside my guts and just rinsed them. Like I was so nauseous and sick because here I am, mind you, coming to Nashville from Atlanta with a voucher, you know, and I was able to find me somewhere to stay. And because you guys didn't pass the inspection that Section 8 conducts every year, I fell in limbo.
Right.
I got evicted because you guys didn't, and they gave you more than 30 days to fix everything. It never happened, so it was like everybody was like me, but I have so many emails and everything, so I know that I had the proof, but I just didn't know how to get it out there. So that's when you came in and you started helping me and showing me how things work and, you know, what my rights were. And you see, once you got involved, you got things moving pretty quickly for me. But it's still like at the end of the day, me and my kids ended up still getting evicted after this back rent got paid and everything. We still ended up getting evicted unlawfully. I called you soon as they came and started putting out my things. And me and my kids lost my whole household that day. And I was just only told to go back and put the things back in the apartment that y'all came and trashed and broke up everything and left me and my kids with nothing. But you could only offer me another apartment, still probably won't even pass the inspection. But this is what y'all offered me, and allows $1,000 to replace my belongings. And to me, it wasn't even about the money. It was just the fact that you think you could offer me something like that for my whole house and replace everything with that. That was an insult to me. But due to me being so just out of it and just so hurt that could happen to me, you know, and my family, I wasn't thinking right. All I was thinking was my survival mode kicked in. You just need to get a roof. We'll sleep on the floor. We'll do all that. We'll replace all these things. We just need to get things situated. And they were just like, well, just make sure you're out of here in your 3 months up. Didn't offer no help, saying, well, we'll help you. You was the only one saying, okay, well, we got to get you replace new things. We're going to get you and your kids new beds. You were the only one that did that.
Okay.
And I really appreciate meeting you. It's been awesome, and I hope that we can continue on our relationship. But you really have been a godsend for me and my family, and I want to say I'm grateful for you. I really am.
Well, it's been my pleasure getting to know you. Caronda mentioned living in Riverchase. It's an apartment development that is in the process of changing to new ownership. So eventually it will be torn down, not before May of next year, 2022. And I want to talk to my other guest here, Mr. McKinney. I know you attended some of the community meetings that were held. So my question to you is, what did you think about the meetings? I know there were several. I don't know whether you attended all of them. I attended 2. And, you know, how are you feeling about this whole affordable housing crisis in Nashville and people being evicted at the rate that they're being evicted, and the likelihood that you will receive the help that you need to transition into new housing?
Well, the crisis is they're evicting us, but the apartment that we do find, the rent is so high that we really can't afford it. They want $2,000 a month rent, but we can't afford it. You on monthly income, like I am.
Right.
So I can't afford that. And then when they do it, what are we gonna do to move out? We're gonna need money to move out, but we have to keep paying the Section 8 part of it to stay on the voucher.
Right.
If we don't pay it, then we get kicked
Then you
off.
lose your voucher.
Right, and then we don't have the money to move around.
Yes.
So I'm just in limbo.
Okay, so you too have a Section 8,
Yes.
active Section 8 voucher.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Do you think you're going to need a great deal of support
Yes, ma'am, I am.
in helping you find housing? Right now, it's rather difficult to find affordable
It
housing
really
in
is.
Nashville.
I'm gonna need a lot of help. I'm gonna need a lot of help. Plus, my sickness, I can't really do a lot, so I have to depend on other people to do it for me.
Right.
So I'm just in limbo too.
So tell me, how long have you lived at Riverchase?
About 9 years.
Okay, so I'm sure that you've made friends, you've built some relationships
Yes,
with
ma'am.
people over there.
I have.
Okay, are you all having conversations amongst yourselves about your future and
Yeah,
housing?
what are we gonna do?
Is that the big question?
That's the big. What are we gonna do? Where we gonna go?
Okay,
So I don't. That's just it.
okay,
We don't have any idea where we're going, and we're gonna get the money from. They say they're gonna give us money to move out and pay first month, last month for the new move-in.
right.
But you don't know that.
Well,
That's just what they say.
I can say from experience, because I've been working with some of the programs, my organization, that are helping other people that are in a similar situation that you're in. So I do fully anticipate that each of you, will be entitled to assistance with future rent. I know up to 3 months is being paid. And I understand that the new owners of Riverchase will also be assisting everyone who lives there now with additional funds, to help with the move.
I know they did. They did talk to me and say that
Yes.
that we will be like VIP. We get to move back in first.
There will be a right to return for those who leave Riverchase in good standing.
But the thing about it is, though, if you spend your money to move out now, then you got to spend money to move back in.
That's true.
So, why spend $1,000 to move out, then spend another $1,000 to move back in, and you got to pay the money to stay on Section 8?
Yeah. So and I may be wrong, and you all let me know, when you are relocated, and it is my hope, because my organization is helping out with the relocation process, that each of you will be in a place where you can sustain yourselves.
Right.
Do you feel if you find adequate housing that you will not want to return to Riverchase, that you will settle in to where you are?
The way I look at it, I've thought about this too. If I move out now, and then if I move back in, I'm gonna be the first one to live in this house, or if it's gonna be brand new to me.
Right.
Just like the one I moved into now, it's probably been there 30 years.
It's an older complex.
So that's what I'm saying.
Yes,
So I would rather have a new one, if possible.
if possible.
If possible.
So you would go through
I
the
would
ordeal.
I would think about it.
Okay,
But
that's fair.
it's not written in stone, but I'll think about it.
Yeah. I don't know if either one of you know people outside of Riverchase. I'm in and out of a lot of complexes all over the city. I'm in court every day looking at people going through the eviction process. I know it may not feel like it now, but you all are absolutely in much better shape than a lot of people that I work with on a regular basis. Do either one of you ever have conversations with other people outside of Riverchase?
I know people right now. Matter of fact, I think Riverchase owns these other apartments that I'm talking about.
Okay.
Hillside.
Oh, okay.
They got to move out by the end of the month, and they have nowhere to go.
So I know you're a mother. You have young children, so you may not have had the time to get out and about and mingle and engage in conversation with a lot of other people, around this whole subject of eviction and the lack of affordable housing in our city. Question for each of you. I see so many people under the most extreme amount of stress and duress,
Right.
Which is how you were when I met you. Mr. McKinney, you've been blessed not to have to
Yes, I've been blessed.
to deal with, the eviction process.
This is the
But-
first time for me.
Yeah. But I think I met you, Caronda, at the worst
Yes.
time in your life. I want each of you all to think about what you think the city should be doing in terms of its role. Do you think the city should be doing more than what you see them doing now? What are your thoughts on how Nashville is changing and whether it's paying a proper amount of attention to people who are really struggling
They're not.
to keep a
The
roof
city's
over their
not,
head?
but
They're not.
I'm not going to take that away from certain individuals that come out of Nashville, because I have met some people that I know probably I wouldn't even mingle with, to come through for me and my family that I don't even know, may have just heard my story, may just pulled up at my door. They have been showing me a lot of love since I've been here, but as far as the house, that has been the only issue.
Yeah.
The job and the house. And like I said, I met individuals like the school counselor and the social
Right.
worker, like I built a relationship with them. And I like to say most of it probably due to because they were African American.
Yeah.
And they knew, they understood. They wasn't judging me or made me feel uncomfortable,
Yeah.
they understood. So, like I said, but as far as the city, like you see in the neighborhood, trash, garbage. Nobody wants to. That's not sitting in the. It's not a good look.
Right. I agree.
It's not a good look. Then you go around the corner, then you see all these big, nice houses. Their streets paved, nice and smooth. My tire, I keep needing a tire every week because all these potholes and everything that's inside of the apartment. The trash is always filled. You got rats, roaches infestation, just water damage problem. It's just so much. I can go on and on with the list. And nobody never comes and do and fix anything. Then once you go up there, now you being aggressive and you being angry, but I've been asking you, to do this for so long, and you still trying to have an attitude with me because I'm asking you to do your job and I need you to do. This is something that needs to be done. But as far as sustainable housing, they have not provided that. I've always found myself going out my way to make my home feel what I felt like it should. Move there, carpet wasn't really all that clean, but like I said, I come a couple of hundred of miles here, so I have no choice, Yeah. But this is not what you told me I was going to be moving into. Right. The floor plan, everything is different now. So it's like it was just like, well, deal with it or hush. You don't have a choice because you're on, housing. You don't get to voice your opinion. That's what I've been getting, attitude. I'm just like,
Well, you have been in your complex for about 9 years?
I've been in 2 different complexes out there. I've been that one for about 4.
Uh-huh.
And then the first one, it was right behind the office.
Oh, okay.
I stayed there about 4.
Okay.
But as far as them coming to the city doing what they're doing, they're building all these different complexes.
lost and things.
And they're making the high rises, making the rent so high.
Right.
We can't afford them.
Yeah.
So I'm still stuck on that part.
And that basically was going
And then
on.
they want to cut the Section 8 out.
Yeah.
They don't want that to go on. Mm-hmm. And then you got to have money to get in. Mm-hmm. If you don't have 3 times the rent, you can't get in.
Yeah.
And they bring everybody from New York, California, wherever, just making good money they can afford them.
Right.
And we can't afford them. So that's just my opinion of it.
Yeah. So you've seen a lot of change in the housing market since
Right.
you've been here.
Right.
A lot of change.
Yep.
Yeah. So, unfortunately, I'm hearing a lot of what you're saying as I'm out in the community, because probably since June, we've probably knocked on the doors of over 500 individuals, residents
Yeah.
here in Nashville, Antioch, East Nashville, North Nashville, West Nashville. And most of these persons are on housing vouchers. So I do know that a lot of complexes are discontinuing Section 8 housing.
Right.
Because they can command much more rent from, like you
Market
mentioned,
rent.
They're bringing people in.
the
from
people
out.
moving from California and New York and other places where
Yeah,
they
it-
think Nashville is cheap,
It is.
Compared
when they get here.
Compared to where
Compared to
they're
their
coming
cost of
from.
living, right?
Exactly. So,
But for the ones that been there, and it's
Right.
going up. It's
Yeah.
already high now,
And
Yeah.
they're gonna come here making the same amount of money that they made there, or maybe even more money when they get here, so they can afford to do this.
Yeah, they can.
right.
You know.
So, although we've focused primarily on one complex with both of our guests, our audience needs to really understand that this eviction crisis that's taking place in Nashville
Everywhere.
is sweeping across
is.
the entire city.
It is.
the
North,
entire
south,
state.
east, west. Well, that's a whole nother subject.
Right.
What's happening
But
around the
here,
state? Yeah, but it is a problem. A lot of people are in crisis. A lot of people I meet are in desperation mode. Most of them have no voice because they would be considered the least of these. And
Exactly.
historically, people don't like to pay attention to those who fall into the category of the least of these, which is unfortunate. And no city, in my humble opinion, can continue to sustain if you are not paying adequate attention, listening to the voices, understanding the plight that those that we categorize as the least of these are going through.
Right.
That's important.
because we matter.
Everyone
We
matters.
matter.
Ev-
Yes.
Exactly.
Everyone, right.
Everyone does matter.
They make you feel like second guessing yourself. I'm finding myself doing all this, like you can't move your kids way up here and look at you. It makes me feel like I failed, and I know it wasn't on me, and I shouldn't have to deal with getting up every day feeling like I'm failing my kids, and I know that's not what's going on. But they don't understand. All they know is, wow, we just had somewhere to stay next week, and what you do? Mama, what did you do that we got to move,
Well,
So it's impacting the household. Everybody walking on eggshells because at the end of the day, everybody looking at me.
right. And even if you made mistakes, we all make mistakes.
Exactly.
I've made mistakes. I still think that something like housing should be a fundamental human right. And regardless of mistakes that I may make or you may make or you, Dwight, we still should be able to find and secure housing,
Somewhere.
decent housing that
Right.
is affordable.
That's all I
Right.
ask for. Decent. Should have to be waking up to knocking bugs off of you. I remember one day my son, he was sleeping and he came in the room and scared me so bad because it's like 3 in the morning. He busted in the room. He was like, Mom, I'm like, what's wrong? He was like, something is in my ear. But me just watching TV a lot, trying to always find out things for me being a parent, how to,
Right.
so I don't have to run to the ER all the time,
Yeah.
It just snapped, it clicked, like, okay, pull the peroxide in his ear. I've seen this before. And he was going so crazy and scared me so bad. But I still, through my motherly instinct, I just knew what to do. And then once I pulled it out his ear, it was a big roach.
A big roach.
And I was just he scraped up his ear really bad because he was going crazy trying to get it out, digging it out. But then I knew how to go in there. You know, I already had the kid next to my bed because they always doing something, the kids. So, but I was like, wow. And you cleaning up, you're doing everything you need to do. But at night, these bulls just come out. They're crawling all over you. I've had rats, mice, whichever one it is, to come up on my bed, running across me. One day I kept smelling something, and I left out the house. I went and found one of the maintenance, like, can you please just come and see what's this smell? Because I know I'm cleaning up. It was a mice stuck behind my bed and the wall, dead. Had been dead, laying right behind me. I felt so violated and disgusted. That's how I've been feeling living now.
Yeah.
No matter how I get up and scrub and clean myself, me and my children, but I'm coming to this filthy place. It's full of dust, bugs. The appliances barely work. Like now the new apartment I'm in, that stove was not turned up. I done told them since I've been there. So you know it's just running up my bill, right?
Right.
Unplug it.
So, what are you both hoping for moving forward, leaving Riverchase, finding housing somewhere else in the city? What are you hoping for moving forward, Dwight?
I want to move forward to something that's decent, affordable, and that's really it. And for everybody that's in a situation to find somewhere to go.
Right.
Not just me, not just her, but everybody.
Yep.
Everybody.
And it's a lot of people in this situation right now.
Right. Do you need to be on a transportation line? Is that an important thing to you?
Yes.
Do you use public
Yes.
transit?
I do, but I have a car that I can drive, but I don't drive it that much. But I might get up and go somewhere, but I still need to be on the bus line.
But you definitely want that access to it
Yeah.
if you have to go that route, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what about you, Caronda? What are you looking for
I'm looking for
moving forward?
You know, my kids to be able to have be a part of a great school, attending a great school. I want to further my education as well and my status in life, you know, and work on a lot of things, you know. Like I said, after all this, me and my family probably will need counseling because it's just been so much on me, you know, in my household. So everybody's being affected because I'm the matriarch, you know.
Right.
So if I'm not well, then I can't. But I just want a decent, nice home. Is that too much to ask for?
No. Both of you all.
Enormity.
These sound like reasonable expectations. We're coming to the conclusion of our episode, and I want to make sure that I thank each of you, Caronda, Dwight,
and I thank you. Thank
for
you. Nice meeting you.
For your time spent here. I want to thank the museum,
the crew,
for hosting the conversation, the just conversation that we had today. And we hope that all of you who are listening got something from the conversation, learned something, and maybe there's something that you can do in your neighborhood, in your community, with your council person to help address the issue of our housing crisis here in Nashville. Thank you.